Hey Ellen, how's it going? My name's Greg Getchell. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. I wanted to first start off by saying that I'm a huge fan. My friends, my family, we all love everything that you do, and you're constantly bringing a smile to all of our faces. Truly one of a kind. I recently came across an article on your webpage that asked to nominate a deserving person. I want to tell you a story about my father. I'm the one sending this video because I partially blame myself for his accident, a traumatic brain injury, which has always been a really hard pill for me to swallow and accept that, I blame myself for his accident. In December of 1998, I received a phone call. I was playing a computer game, and a man asked me to speak to my father. He wasn't home. He asked me to leave a number, if I'd write it down, and I said yes. Even though I know I wasn't doing it, I was repeating the numbers back to him, continuing to play my game, figured I'd tell my father later, and he could get her off the caller ID. Unfortunately, I forgot to tell him. 2 days later, my dad came to me and asked me, "Did so-and-so call for me?" And I said, "Yes, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention to you that he had called. I was playing a game. I'm so sorry." And the crazy part is my dad wasn't even mad. He was just disappointed. He was like, that just would have been more Christmas presents under the tree for you and your brothers. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. Next time I won't do it. I'll write it down, I promise. 2 days later, my dad took another job because he missed that one. And that's the job site that he fell on. He had fallen the 2 stories from a scaffolding, but because the scaffolding let go, a board came around and knocked him unconscious as before he fell. He landed on his feet on concrete stairs, but because he was unconscious, he whiplashed back and cracked his head open. They had to air rush him to a hospital, to where he died 3 times on the operating table. It's a tough one. His swelling was so bad in his brain that they had to cut off partial of his skull in the front to let the swelling go down. The frontal lobe of his brain was damaged from the blow and the swelling, that they had to take partial pieces of it, or the damage to it was what caused his short-term memory loss. His communication skills was affected to where he can't initiate conversation. You could talk to this man back and forth, and he'll talk with you, he'll go and go, but, he just can't initiate the conversation. He received type 2 diabetes because of, being in the hospital and everything going on, and it's awful. He had to relearn everything. What a spoon was, what a fork, count money. He couldn't remember our names in the beginning, which was so hard to see as a young kid, me and my brothers. And it was just such a long road to recovery. He was at Boston Mass General Hospital for quite some time, and then after that he went to the Northeast Rehab. He had to wear a helmet after they removed the skull because of, obviously anything touching or hitting it was just pure skin there over the brain. So he was in a helmet for a long time, until they were able to remold a new skull that they were to implant where the old one was. And his hair was affected from that because they had to cut across the whole top. It never grew in properly. And man wears a hat every day of his life except for a wedding, because he just obviously doesn't, like the appearance of like the scar and the hair not being able to grow back after that, and it truly breaks my heart. Oh, he couldn't have had it any worse, but he's a really tough cookie, that one. He's very special. With the type 2 diabetes, he's gained weight. He can't remember cooking, how to use what to use. Recipes don't help. He can't remember how to use things. Even if I use like an iPad to show him how to, maybe do a recipe, something simple, he just can't remember how to work the technology. Can't use an iPhone, just the very basics that is something so easy for everybody, but it's just so hard for him. It's just so tough, when he's gained weight, he can't work anymore because he's medically retired, and all he can really do is drive around from spot to spot. He likes to cruise. It keeps him busy. He's driving around in a, Hyundai Accent, because it's really good on gas. And, after his accident, he had gotten a settlement, but it just wasn't the money that he deserved, for having to go through something so traumatic. And, he loves trucks. He has a motorcycle that he loves, but because of the diabetes now, he doesn't have the strength that he used to. And I've tried talking to him about turning it into a trike, and I'd help him with some money to, put it together, because again, he doesn't have the money anymore, not being able to work, and with the settlement being not what they were expecting. And he won't let me help him, because he knows it's me putting in, and he's always putting himself before me, even though, I tell him it's not that bad, I can help you, we could work towards it. No, won't have it. Always looking at trucks. I catch him checking out trucks, but don't know how I can do it, with the amount of driving that he does and just going through his gas money. And he's constantly having to buy food because, he can't cook. And me and my girlfriend will try to cook, whenever we can for him. But with my hours of my work and the hours that she works, sometimes he gets hungry beforehand and he goes out and he only remembers the small places to go. He ends up getting fast food, McDonald's, Taco Bell. I mean, who doesn't love Taco Bell? But I mean, all the time. Breakfast in the morning, he leaves at the crack of dawn before I even get up for work, even though I ask him to just hang on a little bit longer and I can make him breakfast before we both leave for, before I leave for work. And he goes to this local spot, Sammy J's, so much because it feels like routine, and he's got a group of guys that go there, everyone that they go there before work, and they all can get together, and, he's like a regular there, so they know him, and he, feels a little bit comfortable, and it's nice, and it makes me happy that he has that. And, during the day, we live very close to the Rockingham Mall, and he goes there every day faithfully, sometimes 3-4 times a day, because you got the regulars that walk over there, and, they all know him over there. And I've gone over there a couple times with him when I get some time, and it's funny, to see everyone calling him by name, and kind of puts a smile on his face. He's like a local little celebrity. But it still really breaks my heart so much because, the man has never asked for anything. As depressed as he is, and, with the weight and the hair not being able to grow back because of the accident, he doesn't ask for anything. He forgets even to brush his teeth, on a regular basis. And, he's gotten really bad with his teeth, and his gums are in rough shape. And, they're talking about, having to put dentures would be his best solution. But the permanent dentures is a fortune. And, it's something that I'm trying to find solutions to help him any way I can. And, he refuses to let me help him because he feels like it'll affect me. And, he doesn't, he's always kids and his family, and he doesn't like to accept help. Again, with being medically retired, he just drives around, but with the short-term memory, he only remembers so much. He can only go so far. He used to love to camp, and he always asks about camping. And with my business, it's hard for timing. But, on the weekends, I'm trying to start to plan trips. And I catch him looking at RVs. And, it's things that he loves, but he still refuses to let me help him in any kind of way. And it just breaks my heart because I still blame myself every day, and I know that everything in life happens for a reason, and it's hard to blame yourself for a situation like that. But with it happening so back to back, the process of events, how could I not blame myself? When I got out of the Navy 3 years ago, or 4 years ago now, I moved back to my house, and I've been with my father ever since, the house that we grew up in. I've been trying to take care of him with the meds and everything else, like I was saying before, and I eventually would love to be able to build a house and, start the business out of that property. And taking him with me would be so perfect because, I could build a in-law apartment to where, he's got everything he needs, and he could still be close, and I can help him as much as I could. But what I'm worried about is the fact that he can't use the GPS. No matter how many times, like I was saying before, I try to teach him, it's just the short-term memory loss affects everything. And I try to get the most easiest type of technology to help him, but it's still to no avail, is working for me. There's so much that I could, continue on with, trying to explain, but the video, I can do no justice. You really truly have to meet this man and just get to see in his face, he's still got that little bit of jokingness where, he still smiles no matter if I'm coming home at the end of the day and he knows I've had the most long, grueling day with mine and my brother's company. He'll say working hard or hardly working. He's still got that sense of humor no matter how much stuff he's going through. I'm just running out of ideas. I just really want to help him any way I can, and he's just, he won't accept too much from me, knowing that it's going to affect me in some type of way or whatever he thinks in his head. I put off a lot of my dreams. I always wanted to be an actor. I always had a pretty big comedy side to me, and I'm always recording videos and funny little dub smashes that make me laugh, and, I figured maybe it'll make him laugh. And I get a smirk from him from time to time. He thinks it's funny, but I can't really tell what he's thinking because he won't start the initiative of the conversation. So I just long for those father-son talks. I never got them. I was too young when his accident happened, and I never got the man-to-man talks. And even now, it just doesn't feel right because I'm always having to initiate it. And I love him to death, and I know deep down, that he loves me, and doesn't judge me for the missed phone call, but it'll forever eat away at me. But I'll be here forever, as long as it takes, trying to help him figure it out, fight through it, stay happy. Soon enough, you'll see the Superman that I see. I hope you get to meet him. I really do, because once you meet him, it's life-changing. He'll forever, his story will forever change you. I got some pictures of the before, the during, and the after. I hope that you like them, and I just overall want to thank you for your time. Thank you so much, Ellen.
You when you